Los Angeles is my home. Had a fair share of heartbreaks, made way too many mistakes, but lost.
Mikaelinho here, welcoming you to the second episode of Season 2 in this Los Angeles Angels rebuild. And we started this season in an even better fashion than we ended last season. This is where we left off last time. We are 13-6 after 19 games. We are topping our division, and Jared Walsh has had a phenomenal season so far. It's been fairly even distribution when it comes to hitting and batting, but when it comes to pitching, it's been a bit up and down. Blake Snell hasn't really impressed so far. In today's episode, we will go through the games up until the draft, I think. That's how far we're going to get. Let's see if we actually get there as well. So this is what's happened since we met last. We beat every team that we went up against. Cleveland Indians, we beat them. We won 2 games, they won 1. Baltimore Orioles, we won 2, they won 1. Arizona, we won 2, they won 1. 3-1 against the New York Yankees, 2-1 against the Rays, 2-1 against the A's. So this is the month we are coming into now. Loads of tough games, and I'm going to start simming until the All-Star voting begins at least. And this is what it looks like now. This is what it looks like a stroke from a magical wand. We have gone, how many games? 47 games into the season. We are still topping the AL West, 638 percentage, which puts us in third place overall. Only the Chicago White Sox and the Dodgers are ahead of us, and we've had a brilliant season. Brewers are just behind us, together with Braves. If we look at the players who have performed the best so far, it's been pretty much the same story as before. Jared Walsh keeps impressing us. 354 average, 13 home runs. But Jose Rojas, 14 home runs. Absolutely brilliant from him. What a season he's having. His first proper season. I think he might even be considered a rookie at age 29. When it comes to Jared Walsh, I need to talk about him as well because he is having a very solid season. He's putting in the work day by day, improving nicely overall. So I'm really impressed with him. This is the results we've had this month. We've been very good. Started out against the Twins. Beat them 2-1. Then we sweep the A's. 1-2, lost 2 against Blue Jays. The same with the Tigers. Swept Texas Rangers. Lost both games to Giants. That might be our boogie team. 4-5 and 2-6. Then we beat the Houston 3 out of 4 games. Only won 1 game against the Red Sox and won the last game against Houston. I will keep simming up until the draft pool announcement and come back then because this is just a time with loads of games. If we have a trade or anything, I would have gotten back to that. But here we are, getting pretty close to the draft, and we need to look at where our strengths lie, what our depth is like, and how many players we have on for next season. And if you look at this spreadsheet I've made, we don't have too many players for the 2023 season. Blake Snell and Raisel Iglesias, they are the only pitchers we have in the roster for 2023. So we need to do some evaluating, decide who stays and who goes. Loads of good contracts at the moment. I think they could be more expensive going into next season, which might be an issue. And if we look at the batters, it's much of the same story. Mike Trout has his 10-year deal, which makes him an Angel up until 2030 on a $35 million per year deal. We have a couple of good players coming up. If we look at prospects, shortstop Ronnie Mauricio looks really exciting. Francisco Alvarez is a catcher prospect as well, who could be good for us going into the season. So this doesn't really tell us what to do or what to go after when it comes to the actual draft. So we will see if we just go for pure quality or whatever we do. But we do have loads of money for free agent. We have over 100 million for extensions. So I think we're going to start by actually tying some key players to new contracts. Short ones or longer ones, that depends. So if we look at the actual salary screen, then we see that I was maybe a bit too pessimistic. Many of the good deals we have for this season will be auto-renewed for next season, which is good. But there are a couple of guys we need to decide what to do with. Ji-Man Choi, for example, do we want to keep him at age 31? He goes into arbitration, and the prediction is that he's going to get 8 million. All these guys down here, further down the list, they have at least one auto-renewal year left, and a couple of them might go into arbitration. There are a couple of decisions we actually need to make, I think. We have Blake Snell, we have Mike Trout, we have to pay half Anthony Rendon's salary, and down at the bottom we have Max Stassi and Justin Upton, and they are going to face two different fates. We are going to get rid of Justin Upton, of course, in his 28 million deal, and I think I'm going to extend the deal of Max Stassi. Anything else we need to focus on here then? Loads of deals being auto-renewed, as I said. What about this guy then? Jose Leclerc. We got him in a trade deal last season. I don't remember where we got him from, but he's on a 4.8. He isn't even in the with the Angels at the moment. He's down at AAA, costing us 4.8. Next season, 6 million. You know what? Let's see if we can get rid of him. Let's see if we can get any decent deals for him. So, Tristan Lutz, that was the best one we could get out of this deal. We are going to trade for him, a decent right fielder prospect. So, and we clear a bit of cap space as well. So Leclerc out, Lutz in, and we clear a bit of cap space. Very good. If we go back to salaries and look, I think we're going to start renewing Max Stassi. How much does he want? 61 million in a 5-year deal. I think that's too much. Could we get him in slightly cheaper? Let's see what he thinks. No, here we go. We need 10.5, not 5 years, 3 years. 10.5 over 3 years. What do you say, Max? Okay, 4-year deal, 11 million per year. Let's try 10 million. Okay, so he agrees to that. I think that is fair. We get it for another 4 years. Hopefully he won't decline too much. I do like his catcher ability, and he's decent at batting as well. So that's good. Starting to get a bit of stability, laying a foundation and laying pieces of the puzzle. Who next? David Fletcher. He is solid as well. How much does he want? 9.3 million in a 1-year deal. That is a lot of money. 2 years, so our prospect can get warm. Okay, no, he wants 1 deal. Okay, let's give him 1 year. Hopefully our prospect will become good enough until then, so we can get him in. Oh, he wants a lot of money. What if we go down slightly more? 8.8. Okay, maybe I overpaid him. He would have gone into arbitration, I think. Maybe this was a mistake. I could still take it back though. Yeah, predicted 8.5 in arbitration, so maybe I went a little high. We'll see. We could always take it back, I guess. But that gives us a year for our 5-star potential prospect to develop into a decent shortstop. Jaime Barria, starting pitcher. I like him. He has loads of potential left to improve, and this is the deal we are doing with him. He wanted 34 million over 7 years, but he's getting 26 million over 6 instead, and the fans go crazy about that contract extension. This sends us into the actual draft. We are getting close. The draft pool has been revealed. The number 1 predicted is Tamar Johnson, OSA rating of 3.5. Klein rates him at 3 stars, a batter with good contact and a good ability to avoid walks. Drew Jones, center fielder, nice eye, decent power overall, good speed, amazing defensive ratings. Okay, and the third one is Jacob Miller, out of high school, fantastic stuff. He could develop 5 pitches that would actually be decent. Lacks movement, lacks control, but he looks good overall. An interesting prospect, I think, especially for us, who I think need to strengthen our pitching going forward. Jerry Jones, not that interesting. And the 5th guy, Chris Heaton, could develop a decent stuff, could develop 3 good pitches. I don't think too much about that slider. 35 will never be enough, but an amazing changeup, good curveball, and maybe a good-ish fastball. Rated, that paints another different picture. A brilliant curveball, a brilliant changeup there for OSA, but we're going to trust Klein. That's what we give him money for. So we are nowhere near the top. We are 24th here. And let's look at all these guys. Let's scout them. And that's not interesting for you to watch. I'm going to edit that away. And let's scout all these OSA guys. So we have tackled off a little bit. We are 42 and 33 halfway through the season, basically, just ahead of Seattle Mariners. And I do wish we would have been a little better. I'm still waiting for Mike Trout to really start doing what Trout usually does. Patrick Sandoval has been fantastic. And Jared Walsh he's been good. 20 home runs, 320 average. So let's sim ahead a little until the actual draft, and then we will look at where we are. And there we go. So mid-season, we are halfway through, and what's the prediction from Moreno? Very excited about how we have performed. We have improved stolen bases to 9th. We have not tried to acquire a top player. I'm going to go into free agency and see if I can find a really good top player, but depending on our needs. And the top 100 prospect list, then we have a number 6, and I want to show you this because I did this offline. Julio Anguiano, a 16-year-old Colombian. We have no idea what will be of him at age 16, but I got him in during the international free agency. He was the best prospect out there. He had an OSA potential of 4, and Klein has his potential at 3. So a very exciting pitcher with 6 potential pitches in his toolbox. That would be absolutely amazing if we could have a guy like that. He could very well be someone who never makes it into the majors, but I do have high hopes for him. So he is high up the list. And if we look at batters, we have Mauricio, Hassel, Crow Armstrong, and Francisco Alvarez among the top 50 prospects. And if we go down a little bit here, we have that's not the right Los Angeles Angels, but we have Hudson Head in 89, Jeremiah Jackson in 98. And pitchers: Julio Anguiano, number 8, Alejandro Hidalgo, number 44, and that is it. But we've come a long way since the start. In 1.5 seasons, we have turned this minor system around. We are number 2 now, with Anguiano, Mauricio, Hassel, Hidalgo, and Crow Armstrong, all within the top 50, 150 points just behind Pittsburgh. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 guys within the top 100, which is absolutely brilliant. There are not too many pitchers in there, which makes me a little worried. But we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more guys within the top 200 and a couple of pitchers in there as well. So I think that the future is looking kind of bright, which is good when it comes to a rebuild. So this is still Julio Anguiano. I need to look at him again. 6 potential pitchers. Hopefully good ratings. It would be awesome if he could be good. So we reach the actual draft day, and as you see, we are 44 and 40 if you watch the top of the screen, but we will get there in a little while. What's happened here? Drew Jones is now touted as the number 1. We are predicted. We have the 24th choice, which means that all the good guys will be gone, but we have scouted both the top of the list and we've also gone a bit deep. So this is the actual standings, and we have fallen off grades. We are now 3 games behind Seattle Mariners, which makes me a little worried. We were so far ahead before, but we've not been great. Mike Trout is up to 15 home runs, so he has waken up. Jared Walsh 21, but the pitching is not good. Blake Snell 6.48 ERA, 4 wins 5 losses. Jaime Barria 7 wins 7 losses. Shohei Ohtani 1 and 5. Dylan Bundy 2 and 3. The bullpen, they aren't really performing either, are they? 19 saves from Raisel Iglesias, but a 4.38 ERA is not really good. If we look at the team stats and the rankings, we are 4th in runs scored, which is good. We have really tried to work on the runs, and we've tried to work on the stolen bases, where we are only 9th. Anything else that stands out? 10th in batting average, 260 batting average isn't good enough. So maybe we need to go look for a heavy hitter as well. Strikeouts 1st, defensive efficiency 11th, sun rating 14th, and errors 13. Okay, so we are not doing our job defensively either. So loads to work on. In the next episode, I'll go through the draft. This is looking good for the long term, but not so good for the short term. See you soon. Bye.
Los Angeles is my home. Had a fair share of heartbreaks, made way too many